Hello and welcome to another video. I hope that you're all very well. So, you're here to get cheaper car insurance today. Well, I'm not surprised because the car insurance in the UK is just sky high. Throughout this video, I'm going to give you some fantastic tips on how you can legally reduce your insurance lower, get it low and keep it low. The first most important thing is to understand the different types of insurances. There are three different types of insurance here in the UK. Firstly, we have the third-party insurance. This is the insurance that most first-timers go for because they assume it's the cheapest. Third party, what does it do? It basically covers you just in case you have an accident, and it will pay for the damage you caused to the third party, to somebody else. So if you had an accident and there was £3,000 worth of damage to another car, they will repair the other car, but they will not repair your vehicle. You are responsible for repairing your own car. If you took out third-party insurance and somebody else hit you and it was their fault, your insurance will still not repair your car. It is the other person's insurance who is responsible for repairing your car. However, you will need to prove that it is their fault, which may take you a month. It may take you 6 months. It may take you 3 years. So that's third-party insurance. Then we have third-party fire and theft. Well, I shouldn't really need to explain that. It's the same as third-party, but we just have the fire and theft added on. Finally, we have the fully comprehensive insurance, which, if you have an accident, it will pay for the repair to the other person's car and the repair to your car, regardless of whose fault it is. If it's your fault, they'll repair your car. If it's the other person's fault, they will still repair your car. So now that you understand the insurance, most people, especially people insuring for the first time, as I said, take the third-party insurance because they think it's cheaper. Not always. So the first tip I'm going to give you is check and compare. Sometimes I go to Tesco's, pick up cornflakes, a small bag of cornflakes, £2. A large bag, £3. However, sometimes the large bag is on special offer for half price. So it's possible to get a large bag of cornflakes for £1.50, which is cheaper than a small bag. In the same way, sometimes it's possible to get fully comprehensive insurance for less than third-party fire and theft. So the first tip is don't assume, check the prices. Check on comparison sites. Not one, not two, but at least a handful of them. And most importantly, when you check for flights, if you check for holidays, and you check again and again, what happens? Well, I find that if I keep checking and I visit the same website, the price seems to go up. It doesn't go up because the holiday is getting booked up. It goes up because the company knows that I'm going to book and I'm desperate and they want my money. Unfortunately, it's the same with insurance companies. If you get a quote from an insurance company or a comparison site and you visit them again and again and again, the price will start going up and up and up. So the second tip I'm going to give you is clear the cookies. If you compare prices on a comparison site, clear the cookies before you visit another comparison site or another company. You'll be shocked on how much the price comes down. So that's another thing. The third thing is, if you're going to get a car, get one with a reasonable engine size. 1.4 or lower is ideal for a first car. You don't need a massive 2-litre car because you'll only be paying extra for petrol, extra for repairs, and much more for insurance. Another thing is, when you buy your first car, try avoid getting a common car. A lot of people think, yeah, Ford Fiesta, Vauxhall Corsa. Insurance companies, they're very strange. They have databases on the number of accidents in a Vauxhall Corsa, number of accidents in a Ford Fiesta. And because these are common cars, the number of accidents are high. So for a first car, try to choose something that's not so popular, and you'll find the insurance will be cheaper. Some people say black box insurance is cheap. They're probably right. It is cheap. But you need to weigh things up and decide if it's worth it. If you've been recommended to a company that installs a black box, and that company has been recommended by a friend or a family member, that's fine. If you're trying a black box company for the first time without a recommendation, I would stay away from that sort of stuff, because I've heard some horrible stories, horrendous stories about black box companies. I knew somebody, in fact I still do, who had his insurance terminated halfway because he was braking harshly. Now, you might think, so what? The insurance is terminated, you switch over another company. No. One of the questions insurance companies ask you when you take out insurance is, have you ever had insurance cancelled midway? If you have, your premiums will rise. And they will rise each and every year for 5 years. Insurance companies ask you for a 5-year track record. So it's better to avoid black boxes unless you really have no choice. Okay, so avoid black boxes if you can. The other thing that insurance companies go on is the mileage that you do. If you do low mileage, let's say 6,000 miles a year or less, your insurance premiums is likely to be lower than if you did 12,000 miles, which is the average person does, 12,000 miles. The more mileage you do, the more likelihood of you having an accident. So I'm not saying lie to the insurance company and say you're going to do 6,000 miles when you're going to do 20,000 miles. What I'm saying is, if it's your first insurance, why not stick to about 6,000 miles and use the car when you need to until you've built up some experience and you've built up your no claims bonus. The other thing that you can do to reduce your insurance is to add a responsible driver. So if you're a youngster, let's say between the ages of 17 to 21, and you said to the insurance company, my dad's one of the drivers on the car. Again, please be very careful on what you say to the insurance company, because I'm not saying lie to the insurance company. If you say that the car belongs to your dad is the main driver, but in fact you're the main driver, that is actually an offence. Even though a lot of people do this and they get away with it, in the event of an accident, the situation could be completely different. A lot of people think, how is the insurance company supposed to know that I drive the car on a regular basis and my dad doesn't? In the event of an accident, if they suspect something, they can interview you. They interview you in your own home. In fact, I won't even call it an interview. They interrogate you, question after question after question, until they get the answer they need to not to pay you. So, if you told them that your dad was the main driver, and then in the conversation, you said, well, I went to shop on this day, I used the car on this day to go and see my mate, I used it on this day to go Tesco's, I used it on this date to go to work, they're going to say, listen, you've used the car 6 times this week. So it clearly confirms that you're the main driver. And therefore, they will invalidate the insurance. So if you are the main driver, you can tell them, yes, the car belongs to me. I'm the main driver. My dad will occasionally drive it. Even if he drives it 2 or 3 times a year, it's still occasion. And you'll be shocked just by telling them that. By adding a responsible driver, your insurance premiums will be legally reduced. The other thing that an insurance company takes into consideration, and this is probably a big thing, is your work. What do you do for a living? Now, you might think, well, I can't change my job just to get cheaper car insurance. No, you can't change your job, but you can alter the job title slightly. For example, a kitchen worker, if you tell them that you're a kitchen worker, you could pay, let's say, £1,200 for your car insurance. But if you say you're a catering worker, that goes to £900. That's £300 difference for virtually the same job. A bus driver would pay slightly more than a coach driver. What's the difference? There's a link. Well, it's not a link. The reason I've not made a link is because I'm not getting any commission to an insurance broker here. And if you put your job title there, it allows you to alter your job title quite legally and decide on what is the best job description. Now, I'm not saying lie to the insurance company. So if you work in the kitchen, if you work in the catering firm, I'm not saying to tell them that you're an admin staff, because that would be fraud. But you can change your job title slightly and legally through this website, and you will be able to save hundreds of pounds on your car insurance. As I said, there are lots of things that insurance company takes into account. They take into account where you park your car. Whether it's parked on the road, whether it's parked in the driveway, whether it's parked in the garage. You can try out all these different things, but remember to clear the cookies on each and every occasion. That is the most important thing. Another thing that insurance companies take into account is how much excess that you're willing to pay. Excess is amount that you would pay, is a part of the claim that you're willing to pay, the first part. So if you tell an insurance company that you're willing to pay £200 excess, any damage, you would need to pay the first £200. So if you caused damage to somebody's vehicle for £300, they would pay the whole amount. But any damage to your car, you need to pay an excess. So if there was damage to your car for £1,000, you need to pay the first 200 and they would pay £800. If there's damage to your car, £300 worth of damage, let's say, then you'd still pay £200 and they would pay £800. Be careful. Some insurance companies have a compulsory access. So you might get an insurance company saying to you, compulsory access, £300. So if you decided on top of that to make a voluntary access of £200, that means that's a £500 access. So you need to take that into consideration, that in the event of an accident, whether you can afford that. Now, here's a great tip. Take out as much access as you can, but also you should be able to, or may be able to, get access protection insurance from the same insurance company. Most insurance companies will offer them, but not all. For example, I've got a driving school car and I've got a £300 access, but I've paid £30 extra for access protection. So if I have an accident, which is my fault, I would have to pay £300 access, but then I'd get that money back. My fault or somebody else's fault, regardless, the access protection will give me the money back. So there you have it. Well, I hope that you found this video beneficial. Please try it out. Any of these tips, try them. 1, 2, try them all. And I'm sure you will save hundreds. There is only one thing that I request from you. If you benefit from this video, if you've saved hundreds of pounds, please let me know. Comment in the text below. Let me know how much you've saved, because it is the comments, it is a thumbs up that keep us going. If you're a subscriber to this channel, thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, then now is the time to do so, because this is a channel that you'll find great tips for life. Thank you for watching.